dad's going nuts on social media. What do you say to him?
Sorry, Pops. I ain't do what I was supposed to do fully. But, you know, we'll live to see another opportunity.
There's a lot of things happen behind the curtains that people are not privy to, and I'm proud of his endurance, his understanding. He can't control a lot of things that transpired, but he learned a lot as a young man. He had to do what he had to do, and he made it through the storms. And I'm proud of him, man. As a father, I'm proud of him because I know the job.
Deion Sanders has finally stepped up and said his piece, and he is going straight at the media with no filter. Coach Prime is done staying quiet. He's laying it out plain, saying his son, Shedeur Sanders, has been hit with non-stop pressure, shady treatment, and straight-up roadblocks, both behind the scenes and out in public where everyone could see it. According to Deion, Shedeur ran into walls from coaches who wouldn't give him real chances to play, along with media figures who, in his view, locked into a plan to doubt him from the jump. Deion made his stance clear. From his perspective, Shedeur didn't get a fair shake this season. Not from the coaching staff, not from the front office, and definitely not from the media machine watching his every move.
Get them into the right calls. I think he can get them lined up. I think he can complete passes, get the ball out quickly, and keep the chains moving and not turn the ball over.
Now Deion says the real story is starting to surface. From the moment Shedeur Sanders entered the NFL conversation, the tone was already set. The media, in his eyes, had their minds made up early. What Shedeur did on the field barely mattered. His performances, his leadership in the locker room, all of it got brushed aside because a storyline was already locked in. Certain media voices kept pushing that angle, no matter what the actual results showed. They labeled him a bad fit for the Browns before he even got a real shot to prove anything. His arm strength got picked apart. His decision-making was put under a microscope. His ability to read and handle NFL defenses was questioned. Even his character got dragged into the debate. All of this happened despite Shedeur putting together a strong college run and clearly showing the skills needed to compete at the next level, at least according to those backing him. This is where things start getting real interesting. Deion Sanders didn't speak up for no reason because the bias on display was impossible to miss. The coverage around Shedeur Sanders wasn't just tough, it felt slanted, and the pattern kept repeating week after week. The same media voices who jumped on every single mistake Shedeur made were strangely quiet when other quarterbacks made equal, or even worse, errors. The double standard stood out heavy. If Shedeur threw an interception, it instantly turned into proof that he supposedly wasn't ready for the NFL. No patience, no context, no grace. But when another quarterback threw a pick, suddenly it was a learning moment, or blamed on protection, play calling, or bad luck. That difference in tone wasn't subtle, it was loud.
Gabriel will become the first quarterback to make his initial NFL start in one of the international games. Jason Lloyd with his thoughts on Dillon Gabriel.
I actually think Dillon is going to be competent. I don't think he's going to be a star. I don't think he's not throwing for 300 yards or anything like that. But I do think he's going to.
And after a while, it became impossible to overlook. This wasn't balanced reporting or honest breakdowns. It didn't feel like real analysis. It felt like a storyline being pushed on purpose, and Coach Prime watched it unfold in real time. At some point, he decided staying quiet wasn't an option anymore. And Deion Sanders isn't standing alone on this. Mel Kiper Jr. stepped into the conversation, and his voice carries real weight. Kiper has spent decades grinding tape, evaluating prospects, and giving straight-up opinions on players entering the league. His resume speaks for itself, and when he talks, people pay attention. So when Mel Kiper flat out said that media members pushing the idea that Shedeur Sanders wasn't good this season are lying about him, that statement hit hard across the football world.
If people were going to negative in April, they're going to be negative now because they're going to look, oh, where is he ranked? Forget that. Look at the interceptions that were off of Jerry Jeudy.
Take a second and really sit with this. One of the most trusted voices in football evaluation is straight up accusing local media of being dishonest. This isn't a simple disagreement or a debate over quarterback rankings. Mel Kiper is saying the facts are getting twisted, the context is being brushed aside, and the real story is being buried under layers of negativity and bias. When someone like Mel Kiper, who has zero personal reason to defend Shedeur Sanders, comes out and says the media is lying about him, that says a lot about what's actually happening. This isn't about favoritism, it's about calling out nonsense when it's obvious. And that's why people started paying attention fast. So what did Kiper say that shook things up so much? He broke down the hypocrisy and double standards around Shedeur Sanders in a way that was clear, direct, and hard to deny. Kiper didn't dodge the facts. He openly said, yes, Shedeur threw interceptions this season. Nobody is pretending turnovers didn't happen. Mistakes were made. And there were moments where the rookie looked exactly like what he is, a first-year quarterback adjusting to the speed, pressure, and complexity of the NFL. But this is where Kiper tore apart the Cleveland media narrative. He pointed out something nobody seemed willing to address. Why is Shedeur Sanders getting crushed non-stop for interceptions, while Joe Burrow is still being praised as elite despite throwing interceptions this season too? The double standard becomes wild when you really look at it. Burrow is a proven veteran with years in the league and multiple training camps under his belt. Yet the criticism doesn't come close to matching the heat Shedeur gets. He's had countless first-team reps and the full backing of an NFL organization built to develop him. Yet when Joe Burrow throws interceptions, there's always an excuse ready. It's bad luck. It's the offensive line collapsing. It's receivers running the wrong routes. There's always context added to soften the blow. But that same understanding never seems to show up for Shedeur Sanders. When Shedeur throws an interception, the tone flips completely. It's framed as a flaw in who he is as a player. Suddenly, it's about his ability, his readiness, or whether he even belongs at this level at all. No one stops to ask if the protection broke down. No one brings up receivers being out of position or timing being off.
If people were going to negative in April, they're going to be negative now because they're going to look, where is he ranked? Forget that. Look at the interceptions that were off of Jerry Jeudy.
There's no real talk about defensive schemes disguising coverage or pressure forcing a rushed decision. All of that gets ignored. The takeaway is simple and harsh. Shedeur Sanders threw a pick, so he must not be good enough. That's the message being pushed over and over. Mel Kiper put a spotlight on this exact issue. He questioned why established veterans with years of experience automatically get the benefit of the doubt, while a rookie quarterback still finding his footing gets torn apart for making the same mistakes. The contrast couldn't be clearer. And the answer, unfortunately, isn't hard to figure out. This isn't really about football breakdowns or fair analysis. It's about a narrative certain media voices locked into long before Shedeur ever took his first snap. The criticism aimed at Shedeur Sanders goes way past the interception talk. Media voices have been taking shots at nearly every part of his game, often without real facts or solid breakdowns to back it up. His leadership has been questioned, even though teammates keep speaking up about his work ethic and his presence in the locker room. They've gone after his mechanics, despite film showing clean fundamentals and a consistent throwing motion. They've claimed he can't handle pressure, even though he delivered in high-stakes college games and stayed calm in tough situations. That kind of talk isn't just unfair, it's dismissive. It paints Shedeur like he can't grow, can't adjust, or can't learn, as if he's somehow less durable or less mentally tough than other quarterbacks who came out of warm-weather programs. That angle ignores reality. Plenty of successful NFL quarterbacks came from schools in warm climates and went on to thrive in cold weather cities. History proves that point over and over.
It's not Shedeur Sanders. Listen, guys, if something was to happen here in the next couple weeks, they would promote Bailey Zappi before they would play Shedeur Sanders.
It's that bad, huh?
Do not even consider Shedeur Sanders a candidate until after Thanksgiving.
But once again, context and logic seem to disappear when Shedeur Sanders is the topic. What this really exposes is a refusal to judge Shedeur based on what he actually puts on tape. He's not being evaluated on his real strengths, his flaws, or his development as a player. Instead, the criticism feels locked into a preset opinion.
It's not Shedeur Sanders. Listen, guys, if something was to happen here in the next couple weeks, they would promote Bailey Zappi before they would play Shedeur Sanders.
It's that bad, huh?
Do not even consider Shedeur Sanders a candidate until after Thanksgiving.
An honest analysis or real concern about improving his game. It's coming from a conclusion some media members reached before watching a single snap. From there, everything becomes backwards, cherry-picking moments to support a story, no matter how weak or contradictory the evidence looks. But the media wasn't the only issue in this situation. According to Deion Sanders, problems were also happening behind the scenes, especially with coaching decisions that limited Shedeur's chances to actually show what he could do and grow as a player. When a coaching staff refuses to give a young quarterback real reps and real opportunities, that goes beyond bad judgment. That's actively holding someone back. Shedeur wasn't given the same patience most rookie quarterbacks get. He didn't receive the usual developmental runway that teams normally allow young signal callers as they adjust to the pro game. Instead of being brought along step by step, he was kept on a short leash. When you mix that with non-stop negative coverage, it creates an environment where a player is boxed in instead of built up. Shedeur wasn't supported in his development. He was placed in a spot where mistakes were magnified and growth was restricted. That kind of setup is unacceptable at any level of football, but it's especially dangerous in the NFL. Quarterback is already the hardest position in sports. Young players need structure, patience, and trust just to survive, let alone succeed. What's happening with Shedeur Sanders shows how quickly narratives can overpower facts, how bias can hide behind the label of analysis, and how talent can get buried by forces that have nothing to do with performance on the field. Deion Sanders is right to speak on it. Mel Kiper is right to call out the dishonesty. Anyone who actually cares about fair and credible football coverage should be paying close attention to this situation. Shedeur Sanders has been hit with a level of scrutiny that goes way beyond normal evaluation for a young quarterback. He's been judged by different standards, held to different rules, and denied opportunities that most players in his position would normally receive. The media push against him has been persistent and far removed from objective breakdowns of his game. As things keep unfolding, it's becoming clearer that Shedeur's biggest obstacle isn't his talent, preparation, or work ethic. It's the narrative certain people decided on early and refuse to let go of, no matter what the film shows or what the facts say. And that doesn't just hurt Shedeur. It hurts anyone looking for honest football analysis instead of recycled storylines. What makes this situation even more troubling is how quickly perception starts turning into reality when the same message gets repeated enough times. Fans hear it, executives hear it, coaches hear it, and before long, a label sticks, even if it was never earned on the field. That's the real danger here. Once a quarterback gets tagged as not the guy, every throw gets judged through that lens. For Shedeur Sanders, that label didn't come from a long track record of failure. It came from selective framing and constant nitpicking. Good plays were brushed off, progress was ignored, only the mistakes were amplified. That kind of coverage doesn't just critique performance, it shapes careers. Young quarterbacks develop through reps, trust, and belief from the people around them. When that belief is missing, growth slows down, confidence takes hits. And suddenly, the conversation shifts from football to survival. That's not how talent is supposed to be evaluated at the highest level. At the end of the day, the film still matters, production still matters, growth still matters. And when you strip away the noise, the real question becomes simple. Are people watching Shedeur Sanders to understand his game? Or are they watching just to confirm a story they already decided to tell? This whole situation has exposed something bigger than one player or one season. It shows how fast narratives get locked in and how hard it is to break free once certain voices decide who a player is supposed to be. Shedeur Sanders didn't fail the process failed him. When coverage turns selective and development turns political, talent stops being the focus. What gets lost in all of this is the simple truth. Quarterbacks grow at different speeds. Progress is never linear, and film doesn't lie when it's watched without bias. Strip away the noise, and what you see is a young quarterback who has shown flashes, toughness, and the ability to adjust when given real chances. This isn't about demanding praise or ignoring mistakes. It's about fair evaluation. Same standards, same patience, same context. That's all anyone is asking for. When those things disappear, the conversation stops being about football and turns into something else entirely. And that's why this story matters beyond headlines. Because if it can happen here, it can happen to anyone next in line. The only way to cut through that noise is to actually watch the tape, follow the details, and think for yourself. If you want real breakdowns, real context, and none of the agenda-driven talk, that's exactly what we do over at Huddle Files. No shortcuts, no narratives, just football. And you already know, we'll have every second of it broken down, every twist, every leak, every hidden play behind the headlines. So like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share it out. Stay locked in with Huddle Files, where the real NFL stories live.